Guys, welcome back to the Desert Road. Today we're bringing you this awesome small BMW. This is an M235i. This is a 4-cylinder version of this Grand Coupe. As you can see, it's finished in this white paint. Looks absolutely fantastic. We're gonna go around the car, show you the exterior, interior, and obviously take it in for a drive and wrap up with our 3 likes and dislikes. So let's go. Guys, before we get into this review, we wanted to let you know about the rule of cars. If you're tired of losing tens of thousands of dollars a year on cars, or simply you'd like to know how to buy and sell the cars of your dreams, such as this M235i, check out the link below for more info and a detailed course. Let's go. Guys, let's start off with this exterior. You can see gorgeous wheels on here. These are 18-inch in size all around, finished in these Continental tires. They look great. They fit the car well. Honestly, you don't need to go any bigger on something like this. The stance is absolutely great. I wouldn't even want this too much lower. As you can see, the car sits fairly low to the ground as is. Just absolutely gorgeous wheel. You can see these big, massive M calipers on here. They really finish off the look well. Got them front and back. This being their mid-tier M's that they're starting to introduce the last couple years. As you can see, it's got a couple of the cool M bits. One of them is this beautifully finished grille right here. It has their gray design that they started doing again in recent years. So they ran that across here. They got it as part of these inlet vents right here. And of course, they run it through to their mirrors as well. I think it looks absolutely great, again, especially against this white paint. BMW LED headlights. It does have radar cruise on here. You can see the sensor built into up front. From the front, this design is great. They ran a little bit of a black trim here on the bottom. As you can see, they actually ran that across the side of the car as well. It definitely gives it a more sportier look right here. I think they did a good job with that. Coming around to the back, again, a couple of M pieces. They got this plastic piece right here. The diffuser looks good. They got actual real exhausts that point outwards from the back. That's a good job for BMW for keeping that. These come here with the little spoiler as well. Again, another thing I'd like to point out, all these M235i's are X-Drive, so they're all-wheel drive, which is another small bonus, especially depending on the climate where you live, and you don't got to option that out separately. Got a little bit of black trim right here. Moving through this BMW badge that has kind of a 3D, partially floating design. I think it looks great on this back. Tail lights are nice, modern. My least favorite angle on this car is this sort of 3/4 view of the car. As you can see that, it kind of is neither here nor there for me. It makes the car look slightly bigger from the back. It's not my favorite angle. I think this is the worst part of this design. Overall, this car looks clean, modern. It's, you know, the size is just right, although slightly on the smaller side. We're gonna jump into the interior and discuss what all that has to offer. Let's go. All right, moving into the interior. Again, I'd like to point out both the front and the rear doors are both frameless designs. So it just kind of has this very clean look to both the doors over here. Not much real leather inside of this car. This is all finished in their fake leather, including the seats as well. It's got the silver trim running through the interior of the car. It looks clean, modern, classy. Regular headliner on here, nothing special at all. They do give you M235i door sills. I always appreciate a little bit of an extra touch, especially when you're paying for the model that's more upgraded. It's got aluminum pedals. That's always a bonus in something like that. Got the stereotypical M sports steering wheel that comes on most of these models. All right, I'm gonna climb in and show you guys the rest of the car. Again, before we do that, I'd like to point out this car comes with the upgraded M Sport seats. They're slightly snugger, slightly sportier looking. As you can see, even the design, it doesn't have an adjustable headrest as well. It's just all one piece. I actually really like these seats. I think they look cool and gives this M the sporty character that this car has. Turning this M235i on, it's got a, again, touchscreen right here. It's got the scroll wheel, just very typical BMW controls in here. This being a 23 model, it still lets you keep all the controls, the physical controls here to the radio and the AC. I always appreciate that. The new BMWs are all going to this flat curved panel display. I think this is a great outgoing design that'll age well for years to come and give you some of the tactical feedback that you're looking for. This one in particular comes with the base stereo. It absolutely sucks. You want at least the Harman Kardon in here, nothing to brag about. One of my complaints is that this doesn't offer you any type of moonroof or sunroof in here. This BMW just has a flat black closed roof, and honestly, it feels kind of cheap. As you can see, you can kind of press against this headliner right here and it pushes in. There's not a single grab handle anywhere inside this car, so that's a con. Sitting in here, it does feel slightly snug. These seats do fit sportier. One of the pros of these seats, they actually give you bolster control, so you can adjust these side bolsters to fit you, which is awesome, again, in a price class of this. We actually have the window sticker in here. I can pull it out, show you exactly what this car costs and some of the options on here. Again, this particular model comes in at $51,800. I think that's on the pricier side on here. The only options that this has is these M Sport front seats, that's $750, and the premium package for $2,500 adds heated front seats, LED lights, and a heated steering wheel. So overall, this car doesn't have many options on here. I like the fact that this does give you heads-up display on here. I believe that's part of the premium package as well on here. Now we're going to jump into the back seat and show you exactly how much room this car has in the back. All right, getting into the back seat, it is tight in here. I'm not going to lie. With the sloped roof, it just, you know, I'm going to be sitting behind myself. And as you can see, my knees are basically in this front seat. I don't know if any very tall adults will be able to fit in here comfortably, and I wouldn't even put my money on some rear-facing child seats to fit in here at all. So what I'm thinking is you can probably get some children under 10 in here quite comfortably, or some smaller adults for a short trip. Don't count this on being the greatest of road trip cars or hauling a lot of people in here if you need that capability. These seats are just here to me just to add a little bit of extra storage for the car. Otherwise, this isn't giving you enough room back here that you would like. Again, with the slope roof, it definitely cuts off on some headspace right here. Frameless doors, as we talked about up front. Something for you to consider. It does have vents right here and a couple charging ports. Not much fanfare outside of all that. All right, quick trunk view. Let's open this up, see how much room we have. This is actually fairly impressive on the trunk space for such a smaller size car. You can definitely get, as you can see, some luggages. I mean, even if you have to, a stroller, for example, can get some luggages. Definitely enough space to get away for a weekend or a week. Not bad considering, again, the shape of the car. Guys, we're on the road driving this M235i. Nice little Gran coupe from BMW. I'm driving it. Everything feels fairly solid in here. This car sits on the road really well. It does come with a sense of heft to it. Everything from the steering wheel to the way it feels driving. It definitely feels larger, actually, and heavier on the road than its looks would imply. This does still feel like it's a car in a compact segment. So some of the feels right here is just kind of an elevated compact car, which again, it is. It's one of BMW's entry models into the sport coupe sedan world. This kind of blends the two. This car sits fairly low on the road, and the seat is fairly low inside the car, so it gives you very sporty feels driving it. So this is an inline 4-cylinder engine, 302 horsepower, 332 pound-feet of torque. In my honest personal opinion, it's a little laggy off the line. For some reason, to me, it doesn't feel like it's got all this pep, get up and go that you would think BMW would give you in a model like this. Again, we're driving in comfort mode. We can switch it all over to sport. It kicks it up a gear, or down a gear actually, and gives you slightly more pep, but it's not as enthusiastic to go as I would have imagined. The smoothness in this car is fairly refined. I have no gripes about the drive. There's a little bit of tire noise coming from these 18-inch wheels. Overall, it feels fairly well insulated to me. Let's give you more of this driving feel and feedback. This transmission is great. ZF 8-speed, you can kick it down. One of the more surprising parts in here is what this engine sounds like. The engine combined with the exhaust, it definitely has a louder grumble than you would expect out of a 4-cylinder engine, especially once you start kicking it down. Let's throw it into sport mode. It even has a little bit of the over rev pops and bangs when you're switching gears or sometimes letting off the gas. Let me give you some of this sound. Again, some of the sound is piped into the cabin as well, so be aware of that. All the modern manufacturers do that, but we're in second gear right here. Very snappy on this transmission. The sound is very surprising. It actually sounds a little bit like a rice burner in some ways, but not in a bad way. It still has a pleasant sound to the ears, not overly annoying. It definitely amplifies it a little bit in sport mode. Here we go. This transmission is really fast. You could almost mistaken it for a dual clutch. It snaps you back in your seat. You can almost see it by me. Sometimes when you're shifting gears, it really kind of kicks you back. So very surprising. This is one of the fastest shifting automatic transmissions, not including dual clutches, that I've been in recent years in a car. So pretty fun and entertaining. It gives you a little bit of feedback. This would make a good daily driver. It's economical on gas for an M car that's not a full M car. It gives you some enthusiast driving, but again, don't mistaken this for an all-out kind of high performance model. The suspension on here feels good to me. A little bumpy at that. It's tuned to be slightly more sport, but again, we're on a slightly rougher road over here. On a smooth surface, it glides. It doesn't beat you up bad at all. This won't tire you out in any way. All right, guys, let's move into my 3 likes and 3 dislikes. Starting off with my number 1 like about this car is I like the heft to this car that it feels like while you're driving. So between the steering wheel, it definitely has some weight in the steering wheel. So the way the car sits on the road, it does feel fairly solid rolling over the road. My number 2 like is still the layout, the outgoing layout of these cars. There's really not much that needs to be messed with before BMW started altering some of this. You have a touch screen, you have a great scroll wheel over here, you have all the information you need over here for like a driver's car. I really have no complaints with this, especially them giving you very quick and easy access to all the AC controls that are going to be gone soon. And then my number 3 like is the sound of this car. It sounds good for a 4-cylinder. It sounds a little bit on the raspy side. It gives you these kind of hot hatch feelings, but if you like a little bit more auditory feedback from the car, this doesn't really disappoint, and I think it's almost as good as you're gonna get for a 4-cylinder in something like this. Rolling straight into my 3 dislikes. Number 1 is the looks. It's not a bad looking car, but there are angles on here that are just not that great. With this Gran Coupe cut off roof line, which I like on certain cars, on here, I feel like some of the lines and the rear body work could be redone just a bit. Number 2, the price of this car. The value is just, I'm not seeing it. For over $50,000, you're walking out of the dealership paying probably in the mid 50s to upper 50s for something like this. It's just, I don't know if it gives you enough car for that kind of money. Again, considering this isn't anywhere close to one of their full M cars. And last dislike is the size of the car. Again, it kind of rolls in with the price, but it gives you, I would say, enough front seat room. As soon as you start going into the back seat, it starts lacking. So you can't comfortably fit 4 people in here for a road trip or anything like that. So you do pay the price, especially with the looks of this car in the back seat compartment. All right, guys, wrapping up this review, some final thoughts. I like the feel to this car. It's not one of my favorite BMW productions in recent years. I'm just really trying to see the value of this for in the $50,000 price range. If it was personally me, I would step up to one of my personal favorites. It's the M235i. So slightly bigger. It comes with the inline, that marvelous inline 6. It's just, to me, better in almost every single area. I'm not sure who the perfect buyer is for a car like this. We previously reviewed same body style at 228i. Honestly, that car didn't feel any lacking to me over this, and obviously it comes in anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 cheaper than this car. So if I was looking to buy something like this, I would probably stick to the 228i. I really can't nail down what this car offers in this segment. Does it drive well? Yes, it does, but really I'm not getting enough emotional or sensory feedback to me to justify this price. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I really enjoyed taking this M235i around. Until next time on the desert road.